Today we're going to talk specifically about your creative process. So whether you are feeling stuck in a creative project or looking to do something new or finding your focus if you feel scattered. So stay tuned till the end. So I always have a few tips and homework for you all at the end. So what is the very first thing that you want to do when you feel stuck? You want to make a plan to get unstuck, right? That's why you hire a coach, right? That's why you try to find somebody outside of yourself, maybe, to find some kind of a fix, some kind of a formula, some kind of a plan to get yourself unstuck, to find your focus. Your brain always wants to keep you safe, right? So it wants to, when you feel unsure, it wants to come back to security. So formulas are great if you want to keep doing the same thing over and over again, but that's not what we want to do, right? We want to actually create something new based on our uniqueness. So while your brain says, okay, we need to hurry up and focus, narrow down and just focus on this specific plan, you're actually blocking out all of the possibilities of what your life could look like. The ease, the fun, the excitement, the connection to other people, the uniqueness that actually will attract people to your art. You're blocking all of that out if you narrow down too fast. So let me give you an example. Let's just say you've been exploring your art for a long time and you want to begin to sell your work online or to new collectors. So what do? Your brain says, okay, let's make a plan. Let's kind of create this plan so that we can create sustained income. So you look around and see, okay, well, there is this person who has this class about selling artwork. So I'm going to take this class. I'm going to follow that formula to the T. So it's, in 6 months, you're going to make 6 figures selling your artwork or whatever it is. So you download the PDF and you start following that to the letter. What happens? And maybe you've experienced this before. You start to follow it and you do pretty well for a while, and then you start to kind of hate it, kind of hate your artwork, kind of hate the people on social media. Maybe you just get bored or you can't sustain it. Why does this happen when we begin to follow the formula? Studies have shown that for long-term motivation, we need to access our internal motivation. So we have external motivation, which can be making money, which can be, other people's approval, but we need to access for long-term motivation, especially if you have ADHD or are neurodivergent. It's so important for you to be able to access this intrinsic motivation. This is what's going to sustain you, and for you to be able to create a plan that's going to sell your artwork in a way that really works for you, that's really fun and connected and easier for you. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to narrow our focus, right? And create that too rigid, closed, focused plan or formula. It's blocking out the possibilities of doing it in a better way. So what we want to do instead is we want to open up and start discovering who we are at the core. The first step is the exact opposite of what your brain wants you to do. So your brain wants you to keep you safe, get in this hyper-focus mode. But actually what we need to do is get into a very open, playful mode. So I'm going to put a graphic right here, but my framework is like a funnel. So everybody wants to kind of skip to the bottom part where we have the end really focused point, but it's actually a process, right? And so the very top of the funnel is what I call finding inspiration. So it's kind of a deep dive of getting really playful, curious, exploring. So let me kind of share what this looks like. This step is all about exploration. Anytime you start a new creative project, you are wanting to create something new in your life, you're wanting to manifest something, you want to start with exploration, daydreaming, connecting to your intuition, right? Really connecting to who you are. In this stage, you're really getting to know, what am I passionate about, right? What inspires me? If you're starting a new art project or you're stuck in your art, really taking classes. You can take classes even if you are, trying to sell your work, taking classes and seeing what really aligns with you. Exploring different media. How does that feel? What do I like about it? What do I not like about it? Just being really open, finding inspiration, finding out who I am at my core creative essence and what inspires me, what feels like a yes. And if that feels like a yes or a maybe we try it out for a bit and explore it and be really open about it. Not saying, okay, I decided I'm going to do this, and then I need to follow through with that because I decided that that's in the plan, right? We're not doing that right now. We're in this exploratory space. We're looking at role models or expanders. Who is on Instagram who you really love their vibe? What are they doing? This is the most important step that a lot of people skip because, frankly, it's scary. It's scary to get really honest and not know where it's going to lead you, and to be able to trust that connecting to yourself is your biggest asset. Let me say that again. Connecting to yourself, your core creative essence, is your biggest asset in your creative work. So do not skip this step, because this is what people are going to connect to. This is what's going to motivate you throughout your career. It's what is going to set you apart. So anytime you are feeling stuck, whether it's on a project or it's in the next step of selling, whether it's in what you should do, who you should hire, the first thing you want to do is get into that open mode, get really open, and explore what inspires you, who you are, what you connect with. Take time to daydream. What are your big dreams? What do you actually want? Get really honest about what you want. In this stage, we want to really make a lot of mistakes, right? We want to make mistakes because that's how we learn what we like, what we don't like, what's working, what's not working. A couple of notes. In this process, if you feel like you're too scattered and you're really taking on too many things, you're exploring too many things, try giving yourself a bit of structure. So taking a class. So like if I was working with somebody to sell their artwork, I would say, hey, just take a class and see what resonates with you. Try that structure for a little bit and then take what works for you and leave the rest, and then try something else. So you might do an IG challenge, or you might create a collection. I do that a lot with my clients. So create a collection, and then within that collection, you are doing this process. You are exploring, and you are staying open. In this stage, it can feel really hard. it can feel really kind of chaotic because you are exploring all your different passions and all these different ideas. And it's a lot of work and it feels scary. Just to recap, when you are feeling stuck and when you are wanting to find focus or start something new in your creative practice, do not find a focus too soon. Don't get hyper focused and try to find a formula to get yourself out of it. Get into open mode and get into this first step of finding inspiration, finding what wants to come out of you, what wants to take you to the next level. Get to know yourself. What are your passions? What is exciting you? It can take a long time. For me, it's taken years. It can take months, but the faster you are, the more honest you are with yourself, the faster it will take. That's what I can say. The more honest you are, the quicker it will be. So what I really see happen with this is that once we begin to gather all these possibilities, we begin to move down the funnel and we begin to get more and more clear as we listen to our intuition, and life begins to help us, right? Life begins to show us, bring us more possibilities, and we then begin to get even more and more clear. So I know that it feels counterintuitive to get into this open mode and do even more exploring when all your brain wants to do is focus and find a solution. But I want to encourage you that you are finding a solution. And here are my little tips for you, your homework for the week. Ask yourself, where are you feeling stuck? It could be wherever in your creative process. It could even be in your life somewhere. Where are you feeling stuck? And then create a container for your ideas that you are going to go on this exploration of finding inspiration. So you want to create a container for all of your inspiration. So I like to use my notes app and just create different notes for different things. All of the different things that you are excited about. You're doing this exploration about what you are excited about, what excites you, what inspires you, who inspires you. You could keep a notes app, you could keep a Pinterest board, you could keep a journal. So take 15% of your day and spend it getting really curious, figuring out what excites you, what your passions are, going on a deep dive in each of those passions. So in the next video, I'm going to talk about the next stage in this process, which is letting go of assumptions. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel and please leave a comment below if I want to hear about what you are struggling with, what is your challenge, where you are at in this process. I'd love to hear about it. And I will talk to you next time in this beautiful journey that we're on.